So hopefully, sorry for that. Furby! Furby. I have kitty cats, so they're kind of annoying. We're gonna make some buttons today.
This is the exact location where a paranormal investigator was viciously attacked on his neck. Oh my god.
Gonna make some buttons. Let's see. Shells. Just need these. Okay.
Look, I know you find humans and you do things, you extract them, but this time you have permission to do it. Take my neck and take your do it!
And if anyone's curious, yes, I'm watching Ghost Adventures. And everybody's trying to make it obvious that you guys can see the buttons pressing.
This experiment, Aaron never gets scratched on his neck.
Hoping it's okay. I know, one viewer. Just gonna watch me make buttons, huh? And I'm gonna hurt myself if I don't move stuff. See? Nice little button, huh? And I can see the chat today, unlike my other times when I play games, so if you want to talk to me, by all means talk. I can't text, but I can certainly answer any and all questions if you have anything regarding this button maker in particular, making buttons in general, or anything for artsy-fartsy stuff. Or what the heck I'm watching. Again, I'm watching Ghost Adventures. There's not much on TV right now, to be honest. It's the holidays. If you hear any kitties or me yelling at a cat, I have 6 cats, so they're kind of jerks sometimes. Especially with my display right now for the webcam to view all this.
Only on Travel Channel, cutting-edge scientists have and unsolved cases. I want to start from scratch. Here with the latest technology, we are going to find out if we have just found and testing new evidence. The person who did this had to be left-handed. It's a groundbreaking revelation. Brand new evidence that's never been seen by the public before. Legend Hunter, Tuesday, January 8th at 10 on Travel Channel. Watch the entire season now. This report just in.
We need to get sales events and get more into the wild. More out into the world. Have more fun tearing up more roads. Like this, and this.
Let's do some Halloween Ochako.
And experience more of what matters. Race in for the mini getaway sales event and get up to $1,000 off select mini models.
This is a large pizza from Domino's. You carry one of $7.99 every day. This is a 3-topping ham and pizza.
Like I said, I'm open for any and all questions about regarding artist alleys, or if you want to know about button makers. I maybe film myself later sewing if it's something you guys like to watch. By all means, comment away, donate. Don't give a crap if you want to say, God, this is boring, you suck. By all means, I don't care. Just thought it'd be fun just to record myself. Since I'm home alone today, so I don't have to worry about anybody intervening.
Select the dates, and Trivago will compare the prices for that hotel from hundreds of websites worldwide to find
And once in a while, if you print on just regular printer paper, you gotta be careful, because they tend to curl up because of the humidity and such. If anyone's curious, these are 1-inch buttons. Cute little buttons, huh? They're 1 inch, so 1 inch is about from your. If you're curious about 1 inch, it's from your knuckle here. That's about 1 inch. It's not accurate, obviously, but it's a little thing I learned when they were trying to figure out the inch, the foot, and everything. And apparently it was like the fable goes that some king decided to be the measurements, so they measured him. Hence why the American system sucks.
Actually, kind of extraordinary. See, oats contain a soluble fiber called beta-glucan.
I don't recommend 1-inch buttons just because they are very tiny and you can't get a lot of details into them. I had to shrink down my artwork pretty small to fit on here, and some of them are kind of, I've noticed when I make them, I look at them, I go, they don't look that good.
Delicious part of a heart-healthy diet.
Does this make you want a Reese's?
And yes, the sofa does squeak. I don't really know why anymore.
Stop. Just kidding. Not sorry. Reese's.
Grubhub is a delivery app to order anything your heart and stomach desire. So you can order this.
Say, got any questions? Invite your friends. Just
Order from over 85,000 restaurants nationwide. Grubhub. Restaurants you love delivered.
Travel Channel and all new Ghost Adventures 2-part special.
We are the only town in America.
All new 2-part special Ghost Adventures. Saturday, January 59 on Travel Channel. It's streaming.
you should always, when you take a button out, always feel around the edges to make sure that the plastic went through. I just use printer paper, so it's thin enough. But if you use like photo paper, be very careful because it can be too thick for the button.
By a powerful force.
And definitely it sucks when that happens, but I always say never throw anything away. Those buttons tend to be thrown into my rejects button bin. Same with my stickers.
Just kind of sent you back, you know? It felt like it wasn't a push, Billy, but like something went through me instead of against me. Right. I didn't feel any
I
negative.
tend to only get the reject ones anymore when I turn trading cards into buttons. So when I was really into Pokemon, I would buy boxes and boxes of Pokemon cards. Because you have to do that to get your your ultra rares, your super rares. And I think right before I quit, they added like royal rare or super ooper duper rare or something. Basically like one per crate. The Prism cards. Dear God. Thank God I quit then, because that would have been... My friend would always buy them. He'd look on eBay and such, or places like Troll and Toad, and he would buy the cards he needed for his packs. And for me, I found it a lot more fun for the gamble to buy a box, to buy a pack. I don't know, this is probably why I shouldn't gamble. I probably spent like over $200 in 1 year playing Pokemon. Same with Yu-Gi-Oh! Yu-Gi-Oh! Was pretty bad too. But anyways, I had so many cards, and I felt bad because, you know, you get so many of those, like, common and uncommon cards because that's what they do. They fill them with fodder. And so for me... Sorry, it's the plastic. I'm opening up the plastic. It's the Mylar, in case you're wondering. It's this little shiny thing. So I had so many of those cards, and I would throw a bunch of them out, but then I realized with my 1-inch button maker here... especially with Pokemon cards and most of the trading cards, most of the image fits within a 1-inch button. Sure, it'd be cool to get the whole button on there, but like I can get some basically official artwork on buttons, and people love Pokemon. That's one of the staples of any convention. People love Pokemon. So it was just kind of a win-win. I would buy a box of cards, maybe pull a few cards I needed for my deck, sell a few of the ultra rares if I didn't need them, and then I would just have my friend, if he bought any packs, give me all your spare commons and uncommons, I'll turn them into buttons. But since I'm playing the game, I don't really have that many left. I still have a shoebox left. I just don't... I also have bags of the buttons now, which no one's buying anymore. But anyway, those ones tend to, because the trading cards, they're super thick. Pokemon cards are easy to take apart. Yu-Gi-Oh cards are a pain in the patootie. I will say that much, that Yu-Gi-Oh cards suck. They're just, I don't know what they make the Yu-Gi-Oh cards with. I've never done Magic card, never played Magic, so I don't know how thick those ones are. But Pokemon are kind of nice because they only have the double thickness to them. So it's kind of nice. I'm hoping you guys can hear me. I'm not seeing anybody chatting, so... I mean, I see audio input and it is moving, so I'm hoping you guys can hear me. If you can't see this, let me know. I'll move the setup or anything. If it seems kind of weird, just let me know. If you go, yeah, your hand's blocking it or something like that, I will move stuff. I'm just getting ready for SAC Anime and for Tai Yukon. If you want to hear me rant about weird shit, post a topic, I will talk about it. Want me to shut up? Tell me to shut up. I've been told shut before in the past. I've been told I'm a little bit of a talker. I don't want to hit with a copyright strike because I'm playing something in the background. So let's see. I bought this button maker, God, I think like 4 years ago, 5 years ago. I started getting into Artist Alley really hardcore about 5-6 years ago. And pretty much that was kind of my thing. And I know everybody had buttons, and I was kind of naive. I didn't want to pay for buttons to be made, and so I thought I'd rather have my own button press. You know, so I looked around, I asked around, and eventually I found a website, buttonmakers.net, which is on the side here. I don't know if you can see it. They seem the most reputable. And it also came with, when you bought the button press, it also comes with, unfortunately I can't show you because unfortunately the camera's on top of it, a cutter. But it's a punch cutter. It's not like some of the kits when you buy these will come with a circular, if you ever do like crafting, quilting wise, it's like one of those circular cutters. And I've heard people say it's okay, but the one I have, which is literally a hole punch, that you literally just feed it through, you stamp it, it's the best thing ever. It makes this go so much faster. I can just line up on Microsoft Word, print it up, and just go boom, 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 and just let it go through. I mean, I have to manually still do it, but I should pay attention to what I'm making, because I don't need to make all of these guys. I'm just gonna... but yeah, I bought it, I think, 4 or 5 years ago, at least. 6 years ago? It's been a while. And I was debating about which size I wanted. I mean, it's nice to get the big, giant 5-inch ones, but the price goes up astronomically for every half-inch. The smallest button maker you can get is a 3/4 of an inch. I do not recommend it. Again, these are 1-inch ones, and 1-inch ones are pretty... People tell me all the time they look like they're the size of pennies. And people have told me before, wow, these are really, really tiny. And I kind of laugh going, well, yeah, they're 1 inch. What do you expect a 1-inch button to be? 5 inches big? But this one, this whole setup, it came with, I think it was 500 pieces or 100 pieces, something like that. This maker and the hole punch was about $560. Every half size larger, so the 1.5, I think the 1 3/4, 2-inch, all those things will cost you almost like $100 more per every half-inch. So if I was contemplating maybe get a 2-inch one, but that would have been $650, $700, and for poor me going to college, that's a lot of effing money. I didn't want to, spend that kind of money. So I said 500 was kind of my limit. So I was like, okay, I'll do it. I went to a convention. I made over $500 at that convention. So I said, okay, that will be my money. I will spend that on a button press. And I bought it. My friend still kind of laughed, saying, why do you have a 1-inch button press? And it's like, because, again, it was the mid-range compromise. Though recently I actually have started buying my buttons made from auxiliary buttons, because they can make big buttons, and they're not that expensive. They're about like $1 something per button. So I started getting, I think I get 3.5. It's like 3.5, 2.5, 3 inches. They're pretty big. I can grab one and show you guys real quick.
DiGiorno pizza, a crispy caramelized crust. It's not delivery, it's DiGiorno.
You just want to see a comparison size-wise. This is like the auxiliary button, so it's actually pretty nice. I don't make them, I get them made. You can see that, it's my Thanos. He has not sold very well. But I can hold the size up to show you. Like, see, this is a 1-inch, and this is the, 3-inch, 3.5. I mean, it's a pretty big difference. If I were to buy, like, a button press for this one, it would be, like, close to $1,000. Can't afford that exactly.
Your budget's
Yeah, and when you're an artist, you're not made of money. It's kind of hard to buy everything like that. So, like I said, I bought this 5-6 years ago. I've had it ever since. I print up my artwork. If you don't want to print on printer paper, which honestly I don't think it looks that bad. It looks pretty meh. I mean, I don't think it looks that... But I used to print it on this brochure paper I used to get from, I think, Office Max, and it was really cool, but I don't know what the paper was called, and I know you're like, oh, it's brochure paper. No, it was some weird brand. I bought it, and it was thin enough so I could put it to the button press without tearing off the backing, and it made the artwork kind of pop out. But I just can't find it, so honestly, I sell the buttons for $1 each, so I don't put a huge lot of effort into making these things look, oh my god, amazing. If I'm gonna do that, I pay for the auxiliary buttons, then, which I do. I've started offering those ones now. Well, thank you, my one loyal viewer. I don't know who you are, but thank you. Well, if you're not a spam bot. That would be sad. Invasion of the porn bots, huh? Can't tell you on Tumblr, when I first joined it, how many porn bots followed me. I get a few every now and then, thank God. I mean, I pretty much block them. The moment I would see a new follower and I click on the icon and it'd be some sexy half-naked girl, and I look at their profile and of course it'd be some shot of their vagina, you know, or some guy's dick. And I'd be like, oh, that's lovely. I didn't need to see that today. I did not need to see it. And I would be like, report and block. And of course someone's like, are you sure? Yes, I don't need to see that. But anyway, since I own this button maker, I pretty much, like I said, I turn Pokemon cards and Yu-Gi-Oh cards and any really trading cards I had, even the My Little Pony card game, I turned them into buttons. Just because I was like, well, it's either official artwork, neat artwork. You know, it's upcycling, especially with Pokemon cards or like any other cards in general. So people would kind of question it, but it's upcycling. It's like when someone takes up a comic book and they turn it into like a pair of shoes. They use like Mod Podge, or they, you know, turn it into a bookmark. You can do that. Some cons will look at it as if it's not your artwork. They might ban it, but I haven't had problems just because, again, I don't sell. They're 1-inch buttons. They're pretty tiny. I also did this in sets, so you notice I'm not putting the backings on them yet, the little pins, because it would take so much time. You gotta, like a manufacturing powerhouse, you gotta kind of figure out, okay, I gotta do everything at a time, so I print all these up, cut them all out, punch them, then turn them into buttons. Once they're all turned into buttons, then I do the tedious work of making the pins on the back. Which, trust me, it is metal. I tend to get covered in the metal. Just don't touch your face or lick your hands. Trust me, it's like licking a nickel. It's not fun. It's really not fun. Sorry about this. But I would highly recommend, if you have the extra income, to get a button press. I don't recommend doing it at a table, however. Do not, I repeat, do not use this as your chance to be like, I want to be like everyone else at conventions. Oh my god, that was amazing and weird. Wish you guys could see it. I looked out my window and there was a weird white sheet flying down my alley. I don't know what to say anymore. I have weird neighbors. Who do I want to make? No. Let's see. Let's dig in my pile here. Yeah, I need more Halloween deco. But I just noticed there was a trend about like a couple years ago with the button presses and how everyone would buy them, and then there'd be like 3 or 4 tables at a convention of nothing but they would press you buttons at the table. It's great, but the problem is when all your tables are connected or bumped up side by side, it was not fun. Pretty much when they would do this part, you know, this, and they do it that loud, my table actually is vibrating a little bit. So that little vibration times 3 or times 4 people doing this at once, it's not the best thing ever. It is the worst thing ever. So your display would shake. I've actually seen people's, displays like fall over because people would do these really hard because they either have they don't oil the machine, which actually I hate to say it, I never oil this thing ever. I don't really think it needs oil. It probably does, but I don't want to get messy. And but that was a really big thing a couple years ago. It was kind of funny. Like, every convention had at least 2 or 3 tables. I've seen now a drop in my local events with the only buttons people. I've seen the vinyl sticker people, the decal people, make a comeback a little bit, though they actually seem to. They're still not as big as they were a couple years ago. But it's funny because people like that they inspired me to just get a button press. I was like, I really want to be like them. But then I realized it's just so much easier just to pre-press the buttons, to be honest. Unless you're only going to sell buttons, make sure you bring like a side table to do your button pressing. But always press a few that are your popular designs, so you have at least a few on standby. So someone come up, I can't tell you how many times I would go to someone's table with buttons and I'd find maybe 1 or 2 I wanted to get, and I'd be next, and there'd be someone in front of me, and they would order like 5 or 6 buttons, and the person has to press this, like do this for every single one. And I'm sitting there going, oh my god, never mind, I would leave. And they lose a sale. It's not my fault. But that's why, bringing this home, this thing is also very, very heavy. If I ever drop my foot, I'm probably going to break a toe. Or somebody else's. I actually put it in a Sterilite box with the press for the buttons. But I would never bring it to conventions just because it's so heavy. It's one more thing to lug and one more thing to possibly get stolen. And this one was $500. If someone knows how much button presses cost, you bet your ass they're gonna steal it. I can easily grab the handle and just walk off with it, put it in my backpack. Yeah, it's heavy, but I can hide it. I just rather pre-press my buttons, and honestly, it's somewhat cheaper just to buy for the buttonmakers.net, they actually offer package deals for the buttons. So you can buy as little, I think it's 50, but it's a better investment to get the 500 or even 1,000 pieces. Because it's only like $50 for like 500 of them. That's a pretty good deal. And I think for 1,000 it's like 70. Plus it's like $15 for UPS. It's no free shipping, unfortunately, because it is metal and it's very heavy and they lose a lot of money otherwise. But I get these whenever I reorder them, the pieces, which I only done a couple times because I've made quite a lot like this, or I made a bunch of the Pokemon cards. It's taken them less than like 4 days to get to me, pretty much. It's pretty fast. It's UPS typically, or it's USPS. They don't wrap it very nicely. I will admit they put them in brown paper sacks, which always scare me, and then they kind of like handwrite on the side 500 pieces, and I laughed when I opened the bags. It always feels like one bag is smaller than the other, but it's because you have the I found my education video. This is the shell. That's what the main button is. These are I think they're called the coils. It's the one that goes behind the button that pushes it into the shell. And then the pin. My pins are the kind that you have to lock. You have to basically bend it. You have to bend the pin. I don't know if you can see that. You have to bend it into you have to push it into the button. And those are obviously. So anyway. Go ahead and put something in there. But typically on each bag you get them, it's funny because typically the shells will be the heaviest bag and the thickest, followed by these guys, and then the pins will always be a menagerie of pretty much poking you. I never really counted them, especially when it gets to the 500 range. I used to count the 50 ones, and most companies have at least a few extras because they know they're not going to be able to exactly count 500 pieces, so they should be able to if they're making these, but I highly recommend them if you ever want to try making buttons. If you don't, and you don't want to do what I'm doing to make all these buttons I'm going to sell for $1 each, you can always order them. Let me know if I'm boring, people. I'm glad I had 1 viewer. So, if I had 0 again, I'd be sad. It's always sad whenever I have 0 people.
Bobby Bosa is said to have brought Charles Manson himself himself to this house. Bobby Beausoleil also participated in.
I will have to cut the stream short. Not yet, don't worry. It's gonna be, I have to, probably like 4:20 or so. So right now it's 3 o'clock, so in case you don't know what time zone I'm in. So I can do this, I'm probably gonna make buttons probably like another 35, 40 minutes. Because my wrist will start to hurt after a while, even though this isn't that bad, it tends to hurt your wrists. Again, this is why I say people at conventions that would press these all day, they would be sore. And when you press so many or you're rushing to do them, you can make mistakes. The biggest one you can make is when you accidentally grab 2 pieces of Mylar. Don't fret if it happens, if your button maker gets jammed. Typically the jam part will happen right up here, because you'll turn this and you'll press down and you'll feel it. The press will not go all the way, or you'll hear a weird crunch. Don't keep pushing. Lift up, see if you can pull it out. Typically a pair of pliers can get them out. And you're probably going to lose that. You may not lose the shell if it didn't go all the way in, but you might lose whatever the picture was, obviously. You might be able to reuse the Mylar if it wasn't too badly crinkled up. Had my friend one time, years and years ago, we were part of the pony fandom and invited everybody over, and she brought her button maker to let people play with it, to show them how to make them. I don't know why she did that. If you're not an artist or you don't know how to use these things, newbies can definitely ruin these things. Jimmy want to learn this rhythm of what to do, and one of the guys didn't push away the Mylar. Like when I always grab, I would make sure I always grab one. I always kind of do that little finger test. He grabbed 2 and he pushed down, and then of course she was freaking out because she thought, oh no, my button maker's ruined. And these things are like $500, $600. So the kid was sorry, but my mom was like, don't fret, and she grabbed her pliers and just pulled the button right out. So again, these things are not indestructible, no, but if you get a good, well-made one, they will last you like 20, 30 years easily. Just don't fuck with it, Don't screw it up. Make sure you always are checking, make sure it's pressing right.
We've barely begun our interview when the energy of the house begins to make itself known.
And what I use to store all my guys, I have these, what are they called? Snapware. These little, it's those multi-level ones. They come in 3 packs, there's 3 levels to them. I bought 2 of them because I have so many pieces of buttons. Especially when I buy the 500, it tends to fill up. I mean, you can see, it tends to fill up this entire thing. I had to put a few extras in another bin. I don't know how I figured out how to use these things. I think I had them from something else, from crafting wise, and then I was like, oh, it's perfect to store them. So I pretty much just snapped them together, put it in my craft corner, and boom, I'm done. They're all in one spot. I don't have to worry about losing them. If you hear noise, that's the wind. It is very windy today. It's banging all of our Christmas decorations. I would highly be careful around animals with this stuff, with button makers and the buttons in general. My cats, once in a while when I accidentally lose a button, they love it because they think it's a toy. Just again, mine are small, so I have to be very careful they don't swallow them. I wouldn't say most cats would eat these, but wouldn't put it past some cats. I have several cats of mine that love eating thread. I gotta be very careful when I'm sewing. And I kid you not, at least 3 of them, whenever I used to unravel the flexible wire, I used to do clay charms, they would hear that. They hear the wire unraveling, and they come running and they just want to play with the wire, which is fun. Like floral wire is fun too, because they can't see it, it's too thin. So I'll just unravel it and I'll smack them in the face. And of course they freak out because they can't see it. I used to make flower crowns, so the floral wire helped. I recently used it for the Christmas decorations, to put up some stockings on some garland outside. So I had to cut the wire, and of course the cats heard me unraveling, and they're just like, "Ooh, it's playtime." And it's like, no.
Speak to us. How you doing? Doing good. Will you live up on this second floor, right?
Right, okay. We're basically just at this house for the first
I
time.
have a convention in about
Certain
a week actually. In a week I will be
around here.
SAC Anime.
I like this really bad cold air
So that'll be fun.
upstairs and the energy and what was that feeling? Yeah, it never ends. You never alone here.
I can only imagine when I upload this to YouTube, I'll probably get hit with a copyright strike because of the Ghost Adventures in the background. I can guarantee you, those little bots will hear that and be like, "Oh no,
Have you ever seen
you
people
can't show that."
and their personalities change? Yes,
Oh right, there's some new ones.
I think a lot of people have fallen subject to if you have a problem with substance, alcohol, drugs, whatever, it's interesting you say that because we did a house in Reseda and the comment that you just said completely ran a parallel. Do you honestly think that there's something in this house causing people to do bad
Gotta
things?
make new bottles.
New drugs?
I know that to be a fact.
Typically, when you do have drug addiction, alcoholism, stuff like that does have demonic.
Let's see. So convention-wise, like I said, buttons sell. They're not like the best sellers anymore, I would say, because people are picky. You know, I've had some people that love my 1-inch buttons. Some people say they want bigger buttons. Some people go, "I don't like your bigger buttons."
Have you guys even gone up
I mean, Ita bags are still a big thing, so people do like to put their favorite characters. You know, they go, "Oh, you have this character, cool. I can put it in my Ita bag, or I can put it on my lanyard that I'm wearing to the convention." Though some cons are doing away with the lanyards, which is, thank God I never got into the ribbons. I was gonna make some, but I've noticed a couple conventions I've gone to only give out the wristbands that, like, when you go to like a concert or when you go to a hospital, I guess. It's just kind of odd. I really don't know why. Other than it's cheaper. But I know a lot of people, myself included, I love having lanyards. I can't stand when a convention, even as an artist, they give me the cheap-ass paper wristband that is extremely hard to get off for whatever reason. Yeah, I can never stand those.
knows the secrets of what went down in this.
Because, like I said, I don't really buy a lot of conventions because obviously I'm selling. So for me, I like having a souvenir, and it's a free souvenir. And once in a while, it has some really cute artwork. I've seen some, and I'll start following artists because of that. Because I'll go, "Oh, cool, who drew this?" And they go, "Oh, they were in an art contest." And I'll be like, "Oh, cool, maybe I can enter." For some, back in the day, some convention used to offer free Artist Alley tables when you entered the art contest and won. And that's pretty cool. I used to know a lot of artist friends of mine that would exclusively enter the contest to mostly try to win because they needed an extra badge for their sister or their boyfriend or something. And that's what they thrived off of. And that's cool. I think it's kind of a little cheaty when you have to get it so your sibling can get it for free. But whatever. But definitely I've seen a lot of conventions don't really do art contests much anymore. Granted, SAC Anime does. I just entered one for ShotoCon. That one was very interesting how they said you couldn't draw any fan art whatsoever. It had to be their mascot, some black blob with red devil horns and a tongue. And I guess apparently one of your original OCs. Which is, yeah, you couldn't draw Naruto. It's even said, like, you can draw a character maybe in cosplay, but it can't be recognizable. Sorry, I heard a weird noise. I did a couple conventions here a long time ago
Animals who've been left outside in the cold.
that would always offer
Animals who've been abandoned and neglected.
the art badge contest or the program guide art.
And every
You know, you'd do it,
spend something
and
could be one moment.
you could win like a free one-day badge or even possibly an Artist Alley table.
Please call
And obviously have your art then for everyone to see. And I've entered a few times for some of those things. I would win. I actually framed one of mine from a convention I actually helped kickstart. That was kind of a weird time for me, but you paid on a Kickstarter for a table, and then I entered their art contest, and my badge was like the Monday badge. So I was kind of proud of it. I still have it framed on my wall, even though I know it's very old artwork, and I can obviously draw better now. But I mean, like I said, I don't mind entering art contests. They're fun, but the problem is the stress of drawing more stuff for more conventions. Because I've done a lot of artwork for a lot of the pony conventions. I was part of Everfree Northwest a couple years ago. I was part of the Brony Can. I was part of Ponyville Cider Fest. And the now defunct Pacific Pony Con. Right now I'm on Babs Con for second year, helping them out.
Alarm companies have made things so complicated. You just keep putting it on the bottom of your list.
Recently, I haven't really been assigned much for them. I finished a New Year's piece like 2 weeks ago because I wanted to be able to have enough time to do my own stuff. Well, we'll see. They're kind of being weird. Do I recommend joining an art team? Depends. I've only seen so far the pony conventions even offer art team positions, like BronyCon and such, this is their last year, so I don't even know if they're hiring anymore for art team. They're probably hiring for regular staff. And something I kind of noticed is that pretty much most conventions hire for staff. They all of them need staffing. I mean, that's just a given you're only volunteers. But for me, being an artist, I can't obviously staff the convention because I'm going to probably be selling at it. It's one of my newest ones. It's kind of cute.
It's day 2 at the Westerfield House in San Francisco. I've conducted hundreds of interviews.
But yeah, like I said, I can't
Nothing to prepare me.
help the convention other than just drawing beforehand. And that's when I noticed that a lot of the pony conventions when I'm still kind of a brony, but not as big as I was. Not as big as like 2012, the era when everyone was like, holy moly, the bronies. But yeah, I noticed like a lot of the anime cons just don't hire art staff. They tend to have 1 or 2 artists that they kind of contract, which is fine. I just think that it was fun back in the day when I would go to convention and you would see all this, I would call it a menagerie, like a cornucopia of artwork, and it was just cool to see that. To see people that are newbies, rookies, and the extreme. And then someone would be there and you'd be like, oh cool, you're the artist that drew the Saturday badge, that's cool. I even told my mom this year, I do Phoenix, well, it used to be called Phoenix Comic Con. It's now changed names twice, so now it's called Phoenix Fan Fusion. Though we all keep saying it should be called Phoenix Confusion, and I need to trademark that or something, or make it into a sticker. I might make it into a sticker just to sell at the convention this year. I'll just do a parody of their logo or something, or give it out for free with purchase. Just because we all said you had that opportunity, guys, and you lost it. But anyway, with their convention, they've had, I guess, whoever the artist is, have been drawing their stuff for, I think, like 5 or 6 years now, and it's gotten stale. It's obvious. It's an okay art style for it. It's just very, how do I describe it? It's not kindergarten level. It's not bad, but it's not good. It's this squiggly kind of cartoony, like when cartoonists are told to, or you go to a cartoonist and you tell them to sketch something real quick, and they go done. That's what it feels like. Like a cartoonist kind of spent like 5 minutes on a paper sketch in a coffee shop because a fan came up to him saying, "Oh my God, hi." My phone's going on. That's probably what I'm hearing. I'm sorry. And that's my problem. I asked my mom this year because she actually she volunteered to work it because one of her friends works in other events here locally in Tucson, and invited her to work up in Phoenix. And since we always go every year because I vend and she only just plays out in the pool, I said and no offense, but volunteers are okay, but she actually got paid. I'm kid you not, it was like $12 an hour she got paid. it's insane. I almost told her, I said, if I don't sell well in the next few years and this con kind of goes to crap, I will gladly volunteer to get paid $12 an hour. That's a lot better than what I was making in some of my sales. But I asked her to maybe contact, because she was working for the con. I mean, obviously she didn't know everybody, but if she maybe could talk to someone and say, hey, I'm not saying, oh, I'm a great artist, make me your artist, but at least let me come into contact with whoever it is and maybe try to use my art connection with my art friends just to see if we can get a few of the local artists involved with some of the artwork for the convention. I could easily ask some of my friends to pitch in like 1 or 2 drawings here and there. I think a lot of them would love it, especially if you offer them maybe a $5 off, or I mean some discount for, not saying a free badge or a free table, but maybe some VIP, maybe give them a free autograph from somebody or something that would be very minute for the con to afford to pay for the artist. That obviously, you know, because they probably can't pay them cash. I hear you, phone. I'm ignoring you. I'll probably get up in a second and check. Okay, I should probably check because it's going off like 3 times. There, look at Aloy real quick. Okay. 1 second.
I want to see if we can reignite something. I want to see if we can sense and feel and see and hear any remnants of the rituals that they did here.
So the one thing about Kenneth's interview that really got to me was how inspired he was.
Sorry about that. Phone was just friend and mother. When you send cat pictures, people always respond.
Yes, I mean, I suppose he was the most influential person that I never met, because he died in 1947.
Okay. And again, thank you, one loyal viewer.
Great affinity towards.
Aleister Crowley's belief, the things that inspired him.
Here, I'm in my phone.
back
Sorry about that. Okay, I'm trying to find all my... I shouldn't have put the pile this big.
My belief is that if that book, Those Rituals Inspired Aleister Crowley, there probably would have been similar rituals up there. But I believe
Okay, this is what I was talking about. It's not going down.
there's a whole series of rituals or incantations, they're called, where the belief is that there's 7 gates. There's 7
Okay,
different
so when things don't work,
one gate at a time.
turn it upside down.
Like a opening.
Okay, you know that this is dangerous.
Absolutely, it can get really dangerous, as we see in Man's Bridge.
Okay, I don't know why this shell... Oh,
Man's Bridge.
here's my problem.
Horrific
There's 2 shells here.
for Aaron and I.
So I told you how I said it, if you'll feel it. And these shells are... I don't know if I can show it on the camera. They're pretty much interlocked. I can't get them undone. So it's like maybe 2 of them got fused together. But that explains why suddenly I was trying to push down and I couldn't.
Could be life
I know it wasn't the Mylar,
if we start seeing
but I can still save it because again, and just be careful when you repress it because you realize you're super strong. Let's see. You gotta always feel. Yeah, it looks good. Okay, so see, I saved 1, but now I'm kind of curious. I gotta make sure I checked all the shells. But yeah, like I said, simple fix: turn it upside down, or if need be, get a magnet.
on Travel Channel, cutting
Oh, right, don't need that yet.
hunts down new answers to infamous and unsolved cases. He's discovering and testing new
Go.
evidence. The person who did this had to be left-handed. Into groundbreaking revelations.
Brand new evidence that's never been seen by the public before.
All new series, Legend Hunter.
Sorry, replying to my friend.
Travel Channel. Watch the entire season now on the Travel Channel app.
Does even technology?
Do they just put CPs in their software? Genius.
And I found another introduction for you.
Oh my gosh, a cat.
Wow, that is so smart.
Did I do it right? Thank you.
TurboTax Live with CPAs on demand. With Zillow, you can see the house before you see the house. And Zillow sends alerts right to your phone. That's the sweet sound of a new rental.
So yeah, I may have lost 1 shell, but at least I didn't least I didn't ruin the machine. And like I said, the machine didn't break. I just, when I was pushing down, I could feel it. It wouldn't press down. And it's a very strong urge. It feels like it's stuck. And like everyone always says, if anything's stuck, don't keep pushing it.
Since 1825, we've proved that it doesn't matter where you come from.
It happens every now and then. You'll get I've actually happened a couple times with the coil things here. Like once in a while they're not perfectly symmetrical and they don't fit perfectly in the little well of the button press. I mean, you'll obviously look down, you'll see it, or when you press it down, it won't press down. Again, not everything can be perfect. It happens. Nobody's perfect.
Cause severe diarrhea, nausea, or vomiting. Otezla is associated with an increased risk of depression. Tell your doctor if you have a history of depression or suicidal thoughts, or if these feelings develop. Some people take Otezla with weight loss. Your doctor may monitor weight and may stop treatment. Upper respiratory tract infection and headache may occur. Tell your doctor about the medication if you're pregnant or planning to be. Otezla, show more of you. This holiday season,
Don't worry, stream, I won't sing for you.
is it Red Cross
But yeah, follow me if you want. I'm gonna try to start doing more of these kind of streams when I can. When I'm like these. Well, I mean, obviously you're not seeing my shorts or pants or anything, so I guess I could do this naked for all you know. I'm not. I'm wearing clothes. Don't worry. But I'm saying I normally freak out when it comes to streaming. If my hair's not done, if I just have bedhead, I'm wearing my PJs still. I don't like streaming, even though people that probably don't care. And most of the time I don't use a webcam. I just tend to just talk. And this, obviously, the whole webcam is on just the table. It's not showing anything, not showing my feet, not showing my shirt or anything. So I could easily... Yeah, Gordon Ramsay. Anyway. So I could just do these in my PJs, which I tend to when I do my crafting. I am jobless, so I stay home a lot of the times. I don't do this... I tend to do this at night. Like I said, I can't do this all the time. My mom will probably be home most of the time, and she probably doesn't want to be on the stream. She kind of thinks it's funny that I stream, to be honest. But, you know what? Yeah, everyone starts small. All those big guys like Mark and PewDiePie and... I forget everybody else. I don't really watch a lot of people. I'm sorry. I mean, the only one I really watch is Mark and his friends play. I love when they play. That's kind of inspired my friend and I to start doing our streaming. I've been trying to do a lot more streaming with my friend. We recently both bought Uno on Steam. The only complaint I have is that it crashes a lot. We play about 2 games and it tends to crash on either him or me or both. But it's really fun. Especially because all the new rules with Uno, which is funny because when I was a kid and we used to play Uno, we would make up half of those rules. I never had the 7 or 0 rule, but we always had the stacking rule. So if you played a +2 or draw 2 card, and somebody else next to you had a draw 2 card, you'd all keep playing them and make somebody draw we made someone draw I think at one point 14 cards, and we had to reshuffle the deck because there was no more cards from the draw. I've literally played a game of Uno to the point where I actually cursed at my teacher. It was in high school, actually. I think it was my senior year. We were in yearbook, and pretty much we'd finished all of our assignments, and so a couple of us decided we wanted to go play Uno. We asked the teacher, do you want to play? And he was like, sure. And it's actually funny, he actually was colorblind. I didn't know this. So Uno is probably the worst game for someone that's colorblind to play. I mean, he told us he could see partial colors, but not deep enough. So he probably would, he played by numbers, which is fine. Or if you need help, but I get really competitive when I play games, and I was so in the zone when we were playing Uno. He played something on me, and I remember I said, like F you or something to him, and then it took me a moment to realize I said to my teacher. Even he kind of gave me a look like, did you really just say that to me? And everyone looked around the table going, ooh, the goody two-shoes, Kelsey just cursed at the teacher, and I mean, my face was like fire engine red. I was so embarrassed. I was like, I am so sorry. And he was like cool with it though. He was like, no, he's like, I didn't hear it. What did you hear? But the entire time after that, I would try to watch what I would say. And I was just clamped up, and I almost wanted to cancel the game, saying I don't want to play anymore. But But with Uno on Steam, it's fun because, I don't know, I think it's a little bit easier than playing the card game. I never played Uno Attack because I thought it was kind of dumb. Honestly, I don't like playing games where things throw things at me. I recently, I don't know why, I rebought an old classic, like really old game, The Crocodile Dentist. It's a little crocodile toy. You open his mouth and he has like, I think it's like 12 teeth all on the bottom of his jaw. You push each one down, and one of them each time you reset him will be the trigger, and his jaw will clamp down. And I swear, it scares the hell out of me. I finally donated it because like I can't keep this thing anymore. I don't know why I bought it, to be honest. It was nostalgia, I think, and I was like, oh, this is cute. Maybe I'll put it on my table for conventions. And then I'm like, yeah, where am I gonna put it? I don't have a crocodile theme. It's making absolutely no sense. Why the hell would I do this? And I was playing it, and every time I push a tooth down, I would literally pull my hand like 5 feet away. I'd go like snap, pull, and it's funny because in that game you can cheat because you can pretty much feel the trigger on those teeth. Like you can just gently push down it for a little oomph, and you'll feel the trigger, so you know which one is the trigger. It's still not fun to push trigger. Yeah, I really hated that game. So Uno Attack I never played it for that reason, because I don't like things, especially cards, launching in my face. I don't get who the hell thought it was a brilliant idea for people to throw cards in your face. So yeah, Uno's fun. I might download the new, or not new, the Rocket League. I watched people play it and it looks really fun, especially because right now it's half off. So it's like, I think it's like $5, $10. I think it's $10. But the DLC with the Jurassic Park version is only like 99 cents. That's kind of why I bought the Uno stuff, because altogether I got Uno, one DLC is free, but the other two, the Rayman Rabbids and the Just Dance, are each 99 cents right now. So I got Uno and all the DLCs for $4.77. I mean, even though it crashes, I didn't know it did at the time, but it's still fun. Hopefully they'll fix the problems. So, I mean, I might get the Rocket League and maybe start streaming that a little bit. It's definitely looks fun. I'm nowhere near as a good player. I am a casual gamer. I do like playing games. Recently I got Smash. I got Switch. I've been playing that. We unlocked all the characters for now. When the DLC comes out, I'm definitely getting it. I want the Piranha Plant. I would stream Switch, but my friend told me it's hard to stream Nintendo Switch stuff just because of the way Nintendo works. I don't know. I have an Elgato, so I'll see. I'll figure it out if need be. YouTube videos, am I right? Oh, they sometimes have work.
If there is, make a noise.
It's fun turning paper into buttons. And the cool thing is, with button presses, when you make them yourself like this, you can also, instead of putting the pins on the back, you can get like magnets and super glue them. Some of the kits do sell magnets with them. It depends. You can buy some and see if you like how they fit inside, or if they actually work. Like, some magnets are pretty shitty, to be honest. I'd highly recommend Amazon and getting like earth magnets. Don't get craft magnets. Whatever you do, never go to Michael's or Joann's and buy craft magnets. They will never work. They are super flimsy. They tend to lose their magnetism the moment you pretty much glue them on anything, and again, they're super flimsy. The worst thing I ever bought was the magnetic photo paper you can print on. I did it for a convention like 2 years ago. I print up a bunch of my artwork on it, cut them out, and they seemed okay, but then they just wouldn't stick to anything. I remember eventually one person bought one, and I knew they weren't selling, so I walked around and gave it out to all the vendors. And I realized the vendor had a sewing machine. He's like, oh, I'll put it on it. He tried to put it on there. It just kept flopping off like it wasn't even magnetic. And I'm like, he's like, this is a metal. I'm like, I know it is. I said, I'm sorry. So yeah, I don't recommend magnetic photo paper, printable photo paper. It's a scam. It's not that good. If you're going to do that stuff, either try to find the high-end stuff online, or quite possibly have somebody make your magnets for you, like a website that actually has the proper stuff.
The holiday
season is filled with
I
joy.
might have to go in the bathroom in a minute, so
Families spend precious time.
just letting you know, viewer. In case you go, where'd she go? It's all quiet. And there's no buttons.
with cancer. And their families. The holidays
I thank you for being so loyal unless you just put on the background. But hey, you know what?
that's the beauty.
The more viewers, the merrier, am I right? Okay, I'll be right back. I'm going to the bathroom.
It's devastating.
This holiday season, help give these children hope by joining St. Jude Children's Research Hospital with your $19 monthly donation. St. Jude fights every day to save the lives of children with cancer. And with your monthly gift, you'll help us continue the life-saving research and treatment that these kids need.
Without this hospital, I have no doubt my daughter's life would not be at all what it is now.
No family will ever receive a bill from St. Jude for treatment, travel, housing, or food. Because all a family should worry about is helping their child live.
Without St. Jude and without the research they've done, I may not have my daughter.
Join with your credit or debit card right now. And we'll send you this St. Jude t-shirt that you can proudly wear to show your support. It's that time of year to help others in need, and your $19 monthly gift will mean everything to a child this holiday.
There's no amount of words or gratitude I can say for those people who are donating and are willing to help all of the children.
Please help St. Jude fight childhood cancer. Go online or call now.
You're nobody till somebody loves you. You're nobody till somebody cares. Well, you're
Okie dokie. I'm back. And yes, I washed my hands.
so fine.
Okay. I didn't wait. Whoops. And that happens a lot.
Pieces or cups. Pieces or cups.
Pieces in cups. Man, we're killing it over here, huh?
Sorry, had to pet one of my kitties. Does he look so cute in his cat tree?
For vacation rentals, search Home to Go Florida for $49. Home to Go California for $52. Home to Go New York. $59. Home to Go, world's largest vacation rental search engine.
We are in the most haunted town in America.
Yeah, I think it was fun. I think yesterday I was just browsing Twitch real quick just to see what the popular like topics were, and sure enough, I found like it said 24-hour chatting or something. It was weird. Didn't really. I clicked on it, and sure enough, like one of the videos on there that was live was like some Asian girl that was half dressed, like basically squeezing her fat boobies, like she's wearing like a crop top. And I'm like, I looked at it, and it said like 1,000 viewers right now. She's live. I'm like, yeah, no wonder. I mean, I thought Twitch got rid of most of those channels, but I'm guessing a few probably come up every now and then. They have to figure it out. So I know people told me before, like, Twitch was nothing but that back in its heyday. It was nothing but people doing that, which, I mean, you blame Tumblr for porn, but I mean, the porn was on Twitch, man. Women, girls just bouncing around in half-dress attire, and they take off a piece of clothing every time they lost a game or something. And they're practically naked. Like I said, when I see an image of a girl and she's half-dressed, I gotta question it. I mean, I'm a woman of fair taste. I do like girls, I like boys, I like both. No judging, I just judge when it's supposed to be a gaming website and showing people, you know, people drawing and everything, and all you're doing is just literally jiggling your titties for the camera. Or I gotta question, what, are you sure you're not a prostitute? Because it makes me kind of feel like you are. So I have to debate which one I want to make next. I don't want to make all of these guys because it's quite a lot. I don't want to waste all these buttons right now. I'm just trying to see how many I've... trying to find the new guys. So yeah, quite a bit over here. I'm gonna make some more Pokeballs. If you like my content, by all means subscribe and tell me you like it and you want more, and I will do it. I'm also gonna try to do some artist vlogs this next year. It's my 2019 goal is to basically try to promote myself a little more and talk about artists and try to get my knowledge out there to the world. And I just caught 2 of these stupid things in there, so hey, saved myself. Win-win. End. Sounds so demonic. It's end. I'm sorry I make fun of the show. I do like it. I don't hate this show. I don't hate Ghost Adventures. I just sometimes I do question it. My mom always calls it the show where these guys are like, "Come on out, Ghost," and they hear a bang and they go, like, I don't want to go. It's like, what? I just keep saying, if I was a ghost in one of these situations, I'd be like, seriously? You asked me to make a noise. I did. Don't act like it's the end of the world. So it's funny when things like a raccoon knocks over a trash can, they freak out. It's like dude, there are animals. There are some explanations when you hear a crash. It could be a bird. It's not always a ghost. Trust me, I've spooked myself several times, and it's pretty much me watching horror movies late at night is always a bad thing. I think it was this last year I was really into listening to like horror stories on YouTube. I draw and I like putting it on the background, so when I do draw I like open up YouTube and trying to find videos I have to watch. It's kind of hard sometimes because some of the videos are really cool with visuals, but most of the time I listen to people that like do podcasts. They'll either review a movie or a TV series. But this last year I was looking up stuff. I don't know why I like creepypastas, so I found those videos, and then there's only a few of them, and they would lead me to other videos such as people saying their horror stories, and I found a few channels I liked. Darkness Prevails. What's the other one? There's a few of them. I haven't listened to them in a while because after a while I realized I was having some really messed up dreams. And I kind of scared myself a few times. And my mom would laugh going, "Let me guess, you spooked yourself?" I'm like, "Yep." So like Daylight Today where I'm home alone, it's not a good idea for me to listen to scary stories. Ghost Hunters isn't that scary. It's spooky, yes, but right now it's still daylight, so I don't care. It's not as spooky as it could be. Okay, let's get a few more All Mights. So yeah, like I said, and it's funny because recently I've noticed my problem is I will look up videos to have in the background to listen to, and then I'll spend like 3 hours just listening to videos and not drawing or doing anything. My mom always laughs at me going, "You spent all day on the computer, what did you do?" And I'm like, "Listen to YouTube." I'll tell my friend that too, and it's just funny. He's just like, "What did you do?" And I'm like, "Well, because then one video would lead me to another, lead me to another, lead me to another, and then I'd be like, I don't feel like drawing anymore, I'm just looking at some videos." I mean, definitely it's fun. I like watching a few of those videos, and especially the ones that help me for when I'm going to go see a movie, or if I just saw a movie and I want to see if my opinion is similar to somebody else's, maybe. I used to do some movie reviews on my channel, but it's a pain in the butt to do critic review, especially when you have to like actually do look up facts and shit, and I'm like, nah, it's fine. I'll let somebody else do the work. See, movies I've seen recently, I've seen Bumblebee. I highly recommend that movie if you love the 80s and everything about it. I don't love the 80s. No offense, I'm a 90s kid. So 80s to me is old. That's my parents had fun during the 80s. I didn't. Wasn't born yet. So, but it's still, I can still appreciate the nostalgia feel for some people that might look at it. And I do know the references, so I'm not out of the loop. I mean, I know about Alf, I know about Pong, I know about Rubik's Cubes. I know that stuff. Some of the music, not so much, but it was really fun, enjoyable film. And for someone who, I love the first Transformers film, the second, third, and I think there's a fourth or fifth, I don't know how many there are now. I've seen them all, but trust me, they are bad. If you've never seen them, don't see them. Michael Bay, he's okay, but it's all about explosions. But the Bumblebee movie wasn't done by him, by somebody else. And trust me, you can tell that it was definitely done by somebody else, and it's so much better. God, I wish they would almost reboot the franchise with this new director, because it's a prequel. It definitely ends on where literally the first one starts. So it's not really a spoiler, because again, it's a prequel. I think it was even stated several times it's a prequel, given that I think the first one takes place in the early 2000s. That's when it came out, I think. So, yeah, makes sense. So, I mean, Bumblebee I highly recommend. Mary Poppins Returns, it's a mixed bag. I love the first, I love the one I call the first movie. I love the original. The original Mary Poppins is something from my childhood. I used to always watch with my dad. No, I never saw the original in theaters. No, I'm not that old. I was born in the 90s. But I appreciate Bedknobs and Broomsticks, Mary Poppins. I like those films. What was the other one? Chi-Chi Bang Bang. I don't think it's Disney, but I like that one too. I don't know. My dad used to always show them to me, and so for me, that's my childhood. So seeing Mary Poppins Returns, I will say that I kind of had it on a high pedestal, and the trailers didn't really do much promise, and I've never seen Hamilton, so I know about Miranda, the guy who plays, is it Jack? Whatever the hell his name is. The lamplighter. Again, I know about him, but I haven't seen Hamilton, so I do want to see Hamilton, actually. I wish it would come to my town. I'm hoping it does eventually. It sucks when things don't come to my town. I've seen Lion King. I've seen Phantom of the Opera twice. I've seen West Side Story. I don't think I've seen Rent. What's the other one? I've seen Oklahoma. I will admit, that one actually is really good. But yeah, so Mary Poppins Returns, the music is good, but my only complaint is when they're singing with their fake accents. Yes, it's fake. It is god-awful fake. Miranda sounds like he's garbling marbles. It's hard to understand them. There was a song, there's a fun song when they do the animated part that literally, I would say 80% of the lyrics, I have no idea what the hell they were saying. Legit, I had no idea what they were saying. It was just, I remember it was like, book is not like a cover, and the king is a crook. There's not a crook. That's all I remember. The rest of it, they'd be like, abba-dabba-dabba-dabba-da, book is not like a cover, abba-dabba-dabba-da, book is not like a cover. And I was like, okay, I hate to say it, we need subtitles for this film, and that's saying something. I mean, couldn't put it past it, maybe do a sing-along version would be a little bit easier. Hell, they should have done that. People would have gladly loved that. That probably would have sold more tickets for it. So, I give Mary Poppins Returns kind of like I would say it's a pass if you love the first one. Don't see this one. It will ruin it for you. Trust me, because you'll appreciate the first one a lot more. What else have I seen? Oh, I highly recommend Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. It is a phenomenal animated film. I'm not joking. It is amazing. The story was great. It was predictable. It wasn't a plot that's gonna like go, wow, I didn't know that was gonna happen. Again, it falls into the hero cliches and the bad guys. Didn't help that I watched videos prior to going to see the film that talked about Miles Morales and his universe, and I knew who the villain was pretty much right away. So if you do know any history, then it's not much of a spoiler, because you're going to know who the villains are, aka the Prowler and everyone else. But the animation was cool. I love Peter B. Parker, the other Spider-Man, the one that helps him out. It's a great movie. I know it's going to get a lot of backlash from the Academy Awards, because they're going to be like, oh, it's an animated film. But it's just, they tried something risky, and I'm glad they did, because it's really cool. That's all I think I have not seen Aquaman. Unfortunately, I'm a Marvel girl. I am not a DC fan. I never have been. I saw the original Batmans in theaters ages ago when I was younger, and my dad and I both agreed they were shitty. Oh, I know. I'm that rare breed that hated, and I mean I despise The Dark Knight Rises. I hate those films. The one with Heath Ledger. I saw that in theaters, and my dad and I kept questioning how the Joker was pretty much too OP. He could put bombs in a hospital, put bombs on both ferries. He burned a pile of money. He could threaten a syndicate. And people say, "Oh, that was just his character." And I was like, no. There's realism in this, and you're like, "Well, he's a cartoon character. You're putting too much into it." No, when it gets to the point where literally just one person, they never showed him with an army. He had maybe a few followers, but not an army of people that could sneak onto a armored freight vehicle or the ferry for the prisoners and put a bomb on it. You're telling me your security is so lax they didn't see that? Or the worst part was him dressing as a nurse, and it's obviously the Joker because he has his makeup on. Not like he's hiding it, not like a cartoony where he actually put a fake mask on and actually looks like a real person, take it off, and it's him. No, it's like him in his rain-soaked like makeup just walks in. It was like my dad and I saw that in theaters, and we were both going, "What? You're kidding me? That's the ugliest clown nurse you've ever seen. You're telling me you're not going to question that person?" No, they have better things to do. He was really good to Scott. Yeah. So after those films, I really hated the rest of the DC films. I never saw the Superman films. I never saw the Justice League film. I did see Wonder Woman because everyone praised it, and I said, okay, I'll give it a shot. And no, I didn't like it. I thought the CGI looked like shit. There's a couple scenes that are very obviously CGI when she's running around the battlefield, like her body moves too much. It's too fluid, like it looks like a rag doll, and it scared the bejesus out of me when it happened because it went from you can see it's a regular person because people have not stiff movements, but you can't like poodle. You're not like a poodle noodle like waving around in the wind, and that's what she looked like during one of the fight scenes, and I was just like, that's CGI. It wasn't even seamless, man. It was like, boom, CGI. And the plot was meh. Her love interest was meh. I was just like, this is just stupid. And people were like, oh my god, it's the best movie ever. I'm like, we watch the same film? So yeah, I'm very critical of films. I don't know. Honestly, all I ask for is a decent plot, decent character development. If you're going to do a weird animation style, then make it your own. Or make it, if you're going to do hyper real, that's cool, but make it interesting for me to watch. Something. Because sometimes I watch some of the stuff, I'm just like, meh, not my thing. I'm not really a fan of period dramas or anything like that. My mom loves those films. I was dragged to quite a few when I was a kid, and I will say this much, was it Friday Night Lights? Or Remember the Titans, both those films. Especially Remember the Titans. I've seen that film like 30 times. No, I don't love it. I've seen it 30 times because my grandma would drive me to the Dollar Theater when it was out in theaters, and we watched it like 10 times in a row because she just loved it. And my high school was called our mascot was the Titan. So naturally, we watched Remember the Titans whenever we were in an assembly or, I don't know, the power went out. I don't know, stupid shit. I remember watching it like 4 or 5 times in the stadium, and I was like, and they're like, what's wrong? I'm like, I've seen this film so many times. So, yes, I hate that film. I hate football comeback stories. So, like, Friday Night Lights, Remember the Titans. What was the one with Sandra Bullock years and years ago? Like, again, there's so many of those films. It is ridiculous. Like, how many football comeback stories do you need? There's baseball comeback stories. There's probably a few soccer. I know a few soccer ones. Was it Bend It Like Beckham? That was when I was younger. God, there's just so many of thsorry if I'm ranting. So yeah, it's just. So like I said, I do like going to the movies now. I go with my friend. He has the Cinemark Movie Pass thing. I highly recommend if you have a Cinemark, Century Theaters or whatever. Use those things because he gets a free movie every month. He can add me on to his ticket for like $8.99. including the X. Well, he pays like a little extra for the XD ones, but I mean that's pretty much a good deal if you ask me. And then he also gets. Sorry, I threw one of Mylar. We also get like a 20% discount on all the concessions, including, I kid you not, there's refillable buckets. They have their refillable popcorn buckets and the soda buckets. That cost like $3 something to refill, which is a steal, by the way, because if you've ever been to a movie theater, a small popcorn I think costs like $8, and the popcorn bucket is $3, and it's about equivalent to a large almost. So people, I think it's funny that they don't buy those buckets. Yeah, they're $20 when you first buy them, but then it lasts a full year. My friend said on his phone it showed how much he saved this year. He saved like over like $50. For myself, I'll pay for the popcorn or the drinks, and he pays for the tickets, and it's a win-win. Just scans his phone, and boom. With all the new ones. So yeah, that's we've been using that all this last year because he signed up for the club. I said, dude, just do it, and I'm glad he did because we saved so much. My only downside is that this year we bought a new popcorn bucket for next year. They didn't have the small buckets. They only had the holy shit large ones. And that one's a little more expensive to refill. It's like $4 something. And trust me, I filled it twice now to go see Mary Poppins and Bumblebee. And my friend and I, we polish off the smaller bucket. We barely had a dent in this one. We got about halfway, and we had to give up. We had to say, nope, we're done. Can't finish this popcorn. Which is funny, because we finished off the other ones. I will admit, though, even though I didn't like the Mary Poppins movie, I did buy the Mary Poppins popcorn bucket because it's really adorable, and I love cute things. I also bought the Jurassic World metal tin bucket. My dad actually paid for that one for me. That was kind of nice because I couldn't find it at my theater. We went to the one next to his house, and they still had them, which is funny because they sold out at the one next to my house. I went to the mall or the movie theater that was closer to him, and they still had them there because I knew that theater was it's out of the way. It's a little further down the street, and people don't like buying their stuff. I don't know. But they had it there, and I remember I was like, you know what? I hate Jurassic World, but damn it, I love dinosaurs. So I had to get it. I also bought the little blue stuffed animal they had there, which, by the way, it sold out within a week. Thank God I did. I was going to get the T-Rex one, but I was like, no, get blue. And I still have her. She's in my room. I cosplay once in a while with the Jurassic World people, but let's see what else I want to make. So yeah, once in a while it's fun buying things at the concession stand counter if you can find things for cheap enough for the funness. So I'm going to probably keep streaming for another like 25-30 minutes. As you can see, I kind of have a giant pile of buttons here that I need to start pinning, and I don't know if I can do that on camera. It's kind of hard to... Can you see my giant? Oh, the wind is picking up, man. The wind is so much fun.
As I began reviewing live playback, I heard a very strange and disturbing voice.
What should I make? What should I make? Let's do Wendy's. Yeah, that dead meme when Wendy's Twitter was trolling everybody. I drew my version of the Wendy's mascot, which is actually funny because I think later on I got Wendy's food, and on the outside the packaging on their cup it says the Wendy's mascot I think it's a copyrighted character. So I've been lucky that they haven't hit me up yet with anything saying you can't sell our mascot. But I mean, all I sell it now is a small print and it's a button, so I don't think they're ever gonna, unless somebody from Wendy's goes to a convention and goes, you can't have that. Oh, thank you, my one viewer. You are awesome. Unless you're not there, my computer's lying to me, in which case, boo. I'm just digging through my pile here, just trying to find. There's like a lot of Halloween cockchon. I don't know why. See the Halloween cockchon. I don't know why I have a ton of them. I just do. I must have printed a bunch of them up. So. Just to make sure I get all the newer buttons designs done first before I make some of the older ones. Because I had a list of what I needed, and I don't need all these guys. Like I have a few in my bin, so I don't need all of them.
We use our thermal imaging camera and full spectrum camera throughout the entire house, but unfortunately we are unable to document any visual evidence of the entities.
Move my legs a little bit. Sorry.
However, our SLS camera did not let us down. The anomalies, intelligent messages, voices.
Okay, sorry. Had to stretch a little bit. I'm gonna put the news on. It's 4 o'clock.
It was blocking this intersection. They have since moved off, and if we can pan up.
Well, that's not good. Turn the news on and a missing inmate. Lovely. Just lovely. It's not near my house, thank God.
Tucson Police Department is assisting in this search. They are assisting in this search again. No lanes, no streets are blocked off at this time. We'll certainly keep you up to date as we get more information. Once again, a Pima County jail inmate is out. Pima County Sheriff's Department, the lead agency. If you have any information on the whereabouts of this inmate, you're urged to call the Pima County Sheriff's Department. We are live this afternoon on the west side. I'm Eric Banks, News 4 Tucson.
Well, winter storm may be the last one.
Well, the plus side with these buttons I have also, even though once I put the pins in, you can still take them out. So if they don't sell as buttons and I maybe feel weird enough, I can always turn them into magnets. Like I said, you can always buy the Earth Strong magnets from Amazon. I actually have some I use actually just to do my displays. It's just better. It's easier to take stuff down. Because I don't use wire cubes anymore. I use the plastic storage cubes, so it's just easier for travel.
And as you can see, a lot of vendors already set up, from food to festivals to games. It's a little bit chilly outside due to all of that rain and mountain snow moving through. In fact, let's take a look outside at our current conditions
Right now there's some big bowl game happening in my town.
Winds out of the northwest at 10 miles per hour, and the dew point at 20 degrees since that moisture has moved out of our area. But as you can see, this evening it is going to be quite chilly. Freeze warning and hard freeze warning, which will be in effect for portions of the Tucson
I don't think I need...
areas north and west of the Tucson.
How many all-mites do I have? 1, 2... I only made 2 all-mites. I'm making a few more.
And midnight will be at 33 degrees, dropping to the 20s for nighttime lows here in Tucson. So here are 3 things to know. Rain and snow is going to start coming out of our area, but chilly air is what is left behind here in southern Arizona. But could we see more rain or snowfall here in the old Pueblo? Well, we
A
could
few
see
more
some
all-mites, because I
rainfall.
know I had only like 1 or 2 in my bin.
Talk about that in our full forecast. But again, we are here at Armory Park. Come on down and enjoy the fun. This lasts until 1 p.m. this evening. I'll send it back to you, Priscilla. All right, looks like a lot of fun. Now let's get to the real snow up on Mount Lebanon.
Okay.
As you can see from our
Okay, my wrist is killing me, and my legs are killing me.
And as of right now, the road up to Mount Lemon remains closed due to weather conditions. And as Sam Sosuelo tells us, last night an accident led to dozens of people stranded.
Deputies say it's still too dangerous to open the road.
Okay, I'm going to have to end the stream now. I will be back after something later tonight. I'm going to apply for a convention that's going to open. They opened about 4:50 yesterday, so I'm going to try to see if I can get into that one. Once that happens, and if I feel like it, I might turn the stream back on to maybe show myself sewing or whatever. So, thank you, my one viewer. Everyone else wants to watch this, and have a good, happy